that 3 to 5 minutes?
5 to 7? Thanks. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, how many of you have ever been on vacation? Anybody? How many would like to be on vacation right now with this beautiful weather and a lovely evening out tonight? Well, tonight I'm going to ask you to indulge me and take an imaginary vacation. We're going to go to Paris. Does that sound exciting? Now, if we were going to go to Paris, we would probably have to do some planning. Going to Paris is a long trip, so we'd want to save money to make sure we could fly first class. We'd also want to get some travel brochures so we could see what kinds of things there are to do there. We've all heard of the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre, but there might be some really neat places that we just don't know about, so we'll have to do a little bit of research. And we also might learn a couple phrases in French so that we're able to speak the language, at least to ask how to go to the bathroom when we get there. So imagine with me, if you will, that you have all your bags packed, you have a lot of luggage, you truck it all into the airport, get it through security, finally get your shoes back on, and you have saved the money, so you're going first class, and you settle back in your seat, and you fall off to sleep. Then you wake up to the sound of the captain's voice, and he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to land in Holland. Please put your seat backs in the upright position and put your tray tables forward." And you wake up and think, Holland? I booked a trip to Paris. I wasn't going to Holland. I don't know anything about Holland. Nobody's meeting me at the airport. There must be a mistake. So you grab the stewardess as she walks by. "What's going on?" And she says, "Well, there's been a little change in plans. We've decided to take you to Holland. That's where you're going to go today." And you panic, and you look around. This can't be true. I'm not ready for Holland. I don't know anything about it. What am I going to do? Well, the plane taxis into the airport. It lands and taxis into the airport. Everyone else gets off the plane. They meet their relatives. They're all happy and excited. And you're looking around going, I don't know where I am, what I'm doing, who's here to meet me. I don't know what to do myself. Where do I go from here? This experience that I just described is much like what happens when parents are notified that they have a special needs child. And I had that experience myself. And what happens is you realize you weren't expecting this. You had all kinds of different plans going on before you had the child. You also learned a different language than what you're going to learn as soon as you get your diagnosis. And also, you had some different adventures in mind before you got your diagnosis with your child. My child was born typically natural. Everything was going to be okay. He was about 1 year old and things were different. We weren't really sure what was going on, but we knew things were different. He got diagnosed about 2 years old, and at that time we didn't have autism and Asperger's and all those kinds of things that we have now, but we were pretty sure that something was going on. He was just different than everybody else. Well, they told us to put him in an institution because there wasn't anything you could do with them, kids that acted like that. He stopped talking about 3, and his dad said, "You know what? It's either me or him. I can't deal with it." Well, that was an easy choice for me. Dad left. So I raised him on my own, and it was quite an adventure, much like planning a trip to Paris and then ending up in Holland. I didn't really know what I was doing. I had to go out and meet all kinds of people, do some research, learn some new phrases, and all kinds of things happened that I didn't expect. One little scenario I'll share with you. I was stationed in Alaska, and he was about 7 years old, and he didn't really talk a lot. If he was frustrated, he would scream. I had gone to pick him up at the youth center, and I could hear him screaming in the bathroom, but nobody was doing anything. They were all busy, and so I said, "Somebody needs to go get him. What's going on?" And they were like, "Well, we're in the middle of this. You can just go get him." The way the bathroom was set up was that there was a set of lockers, and then a restroom, and then the area where the kids could play and things like that. So I peeked in and said, "Hey, lady coming in. Nobody's in here." Didn't hear any responses. Everything was fine. I trudged right on through the bathroom, picked him up, and started to walk back out with him, and there was an active duty person using the urinal right there. Who wasn't there when I walked through the first time? And I'm dragging this screaming kid out of the room. Well, I just looked straight forward and kept on going, didn't even notice who it was or anything like that. The next morning, my flight chief called and said, "Brenda, were you in the men's bathroom at the youth center yesterday?" So I got the unique experience of explaining that yes, indeed, I was in the men's bathroom at the youth center, and I didn't plan to go again, but I couldn't guarantee that I wouldn't. So we went on, and I did a lot of things that I didn't expect. And in that case, I'd like to introduce you to Ray today. This is Ray, now, today, going from that screaming kid that I had to drag out of the bathroom to a U.S. Marine. And if you know anything about the Marines, you know that they have a huge graduation. It's a big deal. Everybody goes there. So we had the entire family there. And as I was going up to give him a hug, he said, "I want to show you something, Mom." And he pulled up his pant leg, and of course, he'd gotten a tattoo. And the tattoo was actually 2 unicorns. One was black and one was white. And he said that the black unicorn represented him, and the white unicorn represented me. The white unicorn didn't have a horn, and he said that that was because I had given up mine in order for him to be successful. And so he wanted to thank me for that, and this was his way of doing it. Not what I would have appreciated, but still nice and touching just the same. So I would ask all of you, if you happen to know someone who goes on a detour to Holland and has a special needs child, encourage them. Be positive, because there's a lot of good things that can happen there in Holland, or in the land where special needs kids get raised. And Holland's a pretty cool place. It has really neat architecture. It also has some pretty fun artwork, Van Gogh and all those kinds of things. And if you never went to Holland, you'd never get to see the tulips. Mr. Toastmaster.